my love.
Hi, everybody.
So, Jess, I would love for people who don't know a little bit about your journey, about your story, to share a little bit with that. And then I'm going to ask you what sacrosanct means for you, because I feel like your journey is such a tale of sacrosanctity. I'm making words up now, but like finding your way into this sacred life, right?
Wow. So where do I even start with my journey? I literally don't even know. I mean,
okay. Have you always been a medicine woman?
No. So I was actually an exotic dancer at one point. I was a glamour model. I had a very hedonistic lifestyle. It was fun, but it was not healthy. And I had a lot of traumas, like unresolved traumas that I hadn't really addressed. And even though on paper I had a perfect life and a perfect lifestyle, there was just a missing piece of the puzzle that made me feel not quite truly happy inside. It was like, what is this missing piece of the puzzle? And the missing piece of the puzzle was actually when I started my journey with the plants. With the plant medicines, ayahuasca and iboga and all of the other medicines that I've experienced. And that gave me the realizations that actually the missing piece of the puzzle was the darkness inside of myself that I hadn't yet addressed, that was blocking me from living a life of utter joy. The first time I drank the medicine, for 3 months, I was literally walking on air. Everything was amazing. No one could piss me off. Like literally everything was just flowing, everything was manifesting. And then I had an epic dark night of the soul after that for a few years. And what it was the medicine was showing me what my life could be like if I did the work. So then it was like, right, off you pop. Here's a load of bullshit that you've not looked at yet. And I had a load of resistance to this, which is what we do. We get in our own way of our own healing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have things that come to the surface now, but it doesn't send me under because I'm a bit further down the path, and I know that I have to face things, and I'm equipped with the tools now. So, but originally I didn't even know, and I was just like trying to block things out, and I had this perception that if I wasn't a positive person that I was failing at life, which is a load of shite. So now I know that you have to actually look at the stuff that's coming up and actually acknowledge it. A lot of the times we don't even need to do a crazy thing to heal. It's just simply acknowledging something sometimes that will actually get us through. And because the thing that we lack when we are healing is the fact that we have not accepted a certain thing. We have not accepted it. And until you accept something, you can't let something go. So we get stuck in the story, which is where I was. I was stuck in the story for years, in this dark night of the soul, trying to force it away. It was coming back around, as it will. You know, things will come back around again and again and again until you address it. So I had to get to a point where I was willing to look and accept certain things that had happened to me, and I didn't need to go into the trauma. I don't believe actually you need to go into the trauma and relive things. I believe that we can do it from a different perspective, from the perspective of self-energy, which is our true setting of kindness, compassion and understanding with ourselves, rather than stepping into the re-traumatized parts of ourselves, which become blended with our system, and we can't heal from this point of view. Like, I know a lot of the spiritual community think we have to step into trauma, but it's actually not the best way to address things. When we step into trauma and we are reliving it, it's hard to access enough what IFS actually, which is internal family systems, they call this self energy, the place that we need to be in to actually deal with these traumatized parts of ourselves and reintegrate them within the system. So it's it's kind of like shadow work, but a little bit different. So this is where I'm at now. Like I will get into self energy, and I will have kindness and compassion with these parts instead of trying to deny them and push them away, which is where I was going wrong in the first place.
Yes, thank you for that. And I wanted to just dive in, because it's been such an extraordinary journey that you have been on, and has covered so much, right? There's been the
Yeah.
money piece, there's been the relationship piece, you became a mum in that journey, you know, there's all of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. So I've had a lot of you know, sort of toxic relationship bullshit, which I'm sure a lot of people have. There's been violence, there's been all sorts of things. But you know, it's all brought me to the point that I'm at now, and I truly believe in the things that happen to us. Our pain becomes our biggest source of our power. It's the thing that we really, once we overcome things, it can become the thing that just not just transforms our life, but transforms other people's lives. Because I believe that we go through things, you know, to be proof that other people can come out of the other side of these things as well.
And for
I know
me, that's like, you know, the piece that you're talking about is that we need to be in that self-healing space. We need to be in our true essence. We need to be connected and in coherence with, from my perspective, our heart brain, our head brain, our gut brain, and our autonomic nervous system, right? Because if they are activated, and then if they're in a healthy place, then we'll heal. Our whole body is designed to heal on an energetic, physical, intellectual, emotional state, right? As long as we acknowledge it. If it was a thorn in our hand and we didn't take it out, it would have real trouble healing. But as soon as we go, oh, look, it's a thorn, and we pull it out, then the body does it all by itself. It fucking heals the thing, which is incredible, right?
Exactly.
And when we do it in community, there's something really powerful that happens about being witnessed in that, right? And so even if it is we're healing alone, but then we share our story, there's something so powerful about the connected, the connection that happens in community when we're on that same journey together, or when we witness each other on that journey.
Absolutely. And you know, I had a really deep, because anyone that knows me and knows about me knows I work with plant medicines, and I had a really deep journey with mushrooms many years ago, and they are all about the community. They're all interconnected under the ground with the mycelium network, and they basically explained to me that you know, we are all healing together. Yeah, the whole planet is no one is fully fixed. No, everyone still has things that they're overcoming, or things that they're about to go through, which they're going to need to overcome. And you know, we are all literally doing this together. Like, so it's nice to be able to share our wisdom and to share the things that we go through, because it really does help other people in our community and the wider communities know that they're not on their own. They can overcome these things, and it is possible to go from a lot of deep trauma. I mean, I used to have post-traumatic stress disorder. I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, chronic anxiety. I got diagnosed with GAD, and I'd never even heard of it at the time. And I was at a point where I couldn't even leave the house. I couldn't leave the house for weeks on end. I wasn't getting in the shower. I wasn't washing, wasn't doing nothing. I was literally on, I couldn't have been in a more, you know, destroyed position than what I was. And if I can overcome these things and get to the point where I'm at now in my life, then anyone can. Yeah. But sometimes we're so deep in the darkness that it doesn't feel like we're ever going to get out of it. And I literally, there was points in my journey in this dark night of the soul where I was like, I am fucked. Like, I am never going to be normal again. Like, I am never going to be happy again. And I remember trying to think of like happy times. Like, I spent weeks trying to think of one happy memory, and I couldn't. My brain was so overloaded with trauma that I couldn't remember any of my past happy memories. That's how bad it was. So if I can get to that, from that point where I was to the point that I'm at now, like, anyone can. And which is why it's so important for me to tell people about these things that I went through, because I know there's people out there that are probably in this situation now, and hearing these words may give someone a bit of hope, you know?
And yeah, okay, so I want to flip it and go around to like, when I first mentioned the name of this podcast, of this sacrosanct life, what comes up for you? As what does sacrosanct mean in your mind? If it's not a real word, so what does it mean for you?
Sacrosanct. It also makes me feel like a sanctuary, like a safety. So getting to that point where you feel within yourself that you have, that you, no, not where you feel, you realize that you have this place inside yourself that the creator has given you and every single other human on this planet, a place inside yourself that you can go to, that you can tap into, that is still, that is calm, that is safe. That's what it means to me. That's what it makes me feel like when I hear you say this word.
Yeah, me too.
What,
And for
what does
me,
it mean to you?
well, so the word itself is like something that is like sacred above all else, that cannot be destroyed, that is our highest priority. You know, that's the kind of energy of it. And it is like, I want people to know that our entire physical and emotional experience as a human being is good, is worthy, is valuable, is potent, is important, because I'm so done with only the happy and only the positive,
Yes.
and the light being valuable and worthy, and all of that, because we wouldn't have any of those, we wouldn't enjoy any of those experiences without the texture, without the opposite. We grow through polarity as human beings.
Yeah, exactly. And it's unrealistic and actually very dangerous to have a belief that only the positive and the love and the light is the way, because it's unrealistic. We are on this, right? So if we want that, then we might as well have stayed where we came from, which is that. Yeah, we come to this earth, it's hard, it's gritty, it's nasty sometimes. You know, there's traumas, there's the most messed up situations that happen on this planet. Yeah, but and that kind of sort of reflects in our life sometimes. You know, it gets messy, it gets nasty, it gets like crazy at times, and that's part of the human experience. You know, if everything was perfect on this planet, then we may as well have just stayed where we come from. We have to have these experiences. It's part of our growth. It's part of, you know, if everything was perfect, we would not be able to exercise our free will, because everything would be perfect. We have to have fear as a polarity to love, because we have to have something to choose from.
Yeah,
we have to have options. So if everything was just perfect, then the options everything would be decided for us. Do you know what I mean?
And we're elemental beings, right? We are part of this earth. We're part of nature. And can you imagine it being sunny every single day? I mean, I choose to live in a place where it mostly is, but the sun goes down and it comes back up again, right? Like, so even in that, there's dark and there's light. Like, it's never going to be, if it was 30 degrees every day, all day long for the rest of my life, that would become less fun for me, right?
Not would wear off.
Right. And if a flower was constantly in bloom, you wouldn't acknowledge its beauty anymore, because the growth from the decay and then the seeding and then the growth of it, like all of these cycles are necessary for us to enjoy the whole of life, right?
Exactly. Because when you've gone through a moment where you've had a stressful point in your life, or like a down moment, let's say, and then you come out of that, oh my God, it just feels so amazing. You just feel so much more grateful. You feel so much more everything, you know, like, it's just the best, isn't it? But obviously things can't stay like that forever. And we go through cycles, like the planet goes through cycles, like the seasons go through cycles, and like the plants and the flowers, like you said, go through their cycles. We also go through the cycles. And when things are amazing, we've just got to appreciate that. You know, we've just got to appreciate the amazing times when they're here, because they won't last. And that is a fact. Yeah, but it's okay as well. Do you know what I mean? The times that we go through that hard add to our strength, that add to our wisdom, that add to our knowledge, and that add to our growth.
So I have a question for you about plant medicine. So you started with Aya. You said you'd also, experience the wisdom and the medicine of mushrooms. And in your shop, you share and sell. And I'm curious where you learned, how your curiosity for this, like where it came from and where you've been with it.
Yeah, so basically, I started off with actually an African plant medicine called iboga. Then I experienced ayahuasca, mushrooms, San Pedro. I've worked with a lot of different plant medicines that all have something different to offer, and they all have really been a useful tool in my healing journey. So, you know, I credit the plants, the medicines a lot for me being able to address my darkness, help me to piece the puzzles of my healing and my being back together, because I was literally just destroyed. I had a lot of traumas come to the surface, and the plants were able to help me to integrate the things that were coming up, and also to learn the tools that I could carry forward in my day-to-day life. So for me, you know, even just things like happy and sananga, they've also helped me a lot. So for me, I would like to, which is why the Shipibo market is so important for me. You know, it's about supporting the tribes first and foremost, right? It's about supporting the indigenous communities, but also it's about making these medicines accessible for people who are not in the jungle. They're not in Brazil, they're not in Peru, they're in maybe Europe or something like this. And it's about making these medicines accessible because, oh, careful, nam nams. My little girl just kicked something that nearly fell on us. I was like, oh, you know, it's about making these medicines possible because everybody has gone through a really challenging couple of years, like in their own right. I mean, we've had all sorts of madness going on that we could probably never perceive happen, right? We've been challenged beyond belief. And so people have now more than ever before really started to wanted to work with these medicines, and that's what I found. So for me, it's really important to make these things accessible and make these give people an opportunity to just do things in a different way, like have different healing tools than maybe they had before.
Yeah, I think for me, the plant medicines, wherever they are from in the world, like even if when we talk about plant medicine, people often go to the biggest, the most profound, the ones that are going to, you know, have them purging, right? Like, because we've grown up in a patriarchal society that thinks bigger is better, right? Like the deeper, the harder, the faster. But some of my most profound experiences with plant medicine have been like by being in nature, by staying all night, or by getting in a cold waterfall, or, you know, there's so many medicines that we can really explore. And I love the way that you are it's such an edgy place in terms of this kind of appropriation of other cultures, but also the education and the bringing of other cultures and other medicines to everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know, it's really important, and you know, you touch on a really vital point. Actually, sometimes you don't need anything really too external. Nature provides everything we need. I've noticed in myself, if I'm having an off day, because I still do you know what I mean, I still have days where I'm fucked off, right? But and I notice if I get out in nature, I get out with the dog and my little girl, I just feel so much better, like after I've been out, even if it's chucking it down with rain, it doesn't matter. Like getting out in nature is something that doesn't even cost anything. Breath work, free. We do it all the time, right? Just to do breath work is medicine. It's our own medicine. Even to sing, even if you can't sing, like singing is a really good way to totally balance your body and to release, and just to tap into that creativity is so magical. And these are things that don't cost you money. You don't really need to go very far. I mean, obviously if you live in the city, you might have to travel to get in nature, but you could still do breath work. You could still connect with your healing in this way. You don't even need to do anything crazy. You don't need to go to the jungle and drink ayahuasca. But there's like other subtle medicines like cacao, which is really powerful, and blue lotus, which is really powerful, and dragon's blood as well, which is an amazing healer for so many things. There's so many things at our fingertips. The creator has provided everything we need on this planet to sort ourselves out. And if you can't access the things, we have things within us that we can do it with.
I fully agree with that, and I feel like we're at a point in history where we get to share that with one another, where we get to step away from this paradigm of separating ourselves and being like, oh, I'm going to look after me, but I'm not going to look after anybody else, right? Like for me, there's a transition time here where if I can educate people who wouldn't otherwise have access to this kind of information, then I want to do that. If I can make stuff accessible financially, but then also still create its value and spread different tiers of things, then I want to be able to do that, because it's time, in my opinion, to start being more creative with how we work with the resources and the tools that we've got and each other.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. You know, it's time where we really need to start to actually share information that we receive and share our gifts. And there's so many people who are scared to do it. I used to be really scared to put myself out there on any sort of video or anything like that. But I realized actually, like, I have a duty to, and we all have a duty to share like the things that we realize, because if it can help one person, then it makes such a difference, because the ripple effect of that, because if somebody's in a bad place, then that's going to affect a lot of other people as well. You know, so if you can help one person, the ripple effect of that is amazing.
Yeah,
it's really amazing.
Oh, I could talk to you forever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all your links in and make sure that people can come and find out more, come and, you know, see what it is that you're working with, how you're showing up in the world, what you're doing, because it is so important. If there was one more message that you could share with people listening or watching to this, what would it be?
Just do the inner work. Yeah, if you want to lead a life that is truly joyous and happy, and you know, you want to get to a certain place in your life, then there's no shortcut. You have to do the inner work, and that means sometimes looking at stuff that you don't want to look at. But if you can do that, you'll realize how worth it that hard work was. And when your life is when you're growing and your life is getting better and better and better, you will realize the benefit of that. But I would say to someone, just get your hands dirty, just acknowledge your darkness, just acknowledge where you are in your healing journey and what you have to resolve. Yeah, that's what I want to say, really.
Love that. Embrace the mess. You know, for me, life is so sanitized and so devoid of life. Like, life is messy. And I feel like when lots of people don't really understand that until they get sick or have a baby or something, where they suddenly realize how much messiness is involved in life, you know?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yes,
we are going to have another tiny little chat on the kind of after hours a bit. Thank you so much for coming and having this chat with me.
Thank you for having me on. It's been brilliant.